Hi everyone, welcome back to Poetology. This video is number 5 in my series on online poetry journals, where I take you through a list of 12 online journals to look at the feature of each one of them, what they publish, what the next submission window is, and what their issues look like. These are great places to discover new poetry, have your own poetry published, and support poetry culture wherever you are based. Many of them accept pieces worldwide, so you discover a wide range of poets who you would not have known otherwise. At the end of the video, I also talk about Chill Subs, which is a website where you can put in various data to find out which journals are open to accept your work. You indicate what kind of work you want to submit, whether you want it to be on paper or online. You can select other variables to make sure you find the right journal for your submission. So it's a really excellent resource that I highly recommend. This is the Global Youth Review, a literary and arts magazine to empower young voices through creative expression. It's an upcoming international literary magazine hoping to amplify the voices of marginalized communities through creative art forms, inspired by the unrest in cities caused by the spread of hegemonic narratives. They accept all mediums of art, including visual, non-fiction writing, spoken word poetry, written poetry, memoirs, fictional writing, and more. If we look at issues, the current one is issue 3 on heritage, and you can view it here and read the entire issue directly on the website, or view separately so that you can look at it in larger print. If you want to submit work, submissions are currently closed, but hopefully they will be open again soon for the next issue. Yeah, they closed in April, so I imagine there will be one at some point. Here is the Agapanthus Collective. They seek to publish the unheard, the weird, the comforting, and they would like to see works from voices never heard, especially people of color, women, and queer community. Any literary work is accepted. The issues are biannual. The latest is issue 3, Indelible, and you can read it here or click on a PDF. There we go. This is the latest issue. There is poetry and prose, as well as some artwork, it looks like. Their reading periods are fixed. It is May 25th to July 25th, which means it's currently open for the winter issue if you want to submit. And the spring issue will be December 5th to February 5th. They welcome English and multilingual works. They also have weekly publications on the website, and that is also open. And they welcome queries using their email address, so you can easily contact them. From the Father Trees is a magazine of fantasy. It is a bi-monthly print and digital magazine of fantasy fiction, and they are trying to mingle the underground spirit of pre-internet DIY zine culture with storytelling and the progressive social attitudes of 2020's fantasy. You can see their Trees pop-up issue from September 2021. Let's click on it. It's in PDF format. And here is the table of contents. Let's see. A lot of pictures of trees. Contributors, mushrooms. Okay, we've got poetry here. Looks like it's a good place for poems. Some fiction as well. if we check their submission guidelines, I thought I had an ad blocker. Submission guidelines. They also have a recurring anthology, Queer Blades and Mesozoic Reader. I'm going to check this out in a minute. The editor is Rick Holland, and submissions are currently closed, but they will reopen at some point in spring 2022, so that should hopefully be very soon. Check Twitter for updates. If you are a writer of fantasy in short form, this could be ideal. I'm curious about Queer Blades. Queer Blades, an anthology of LGBTQIA2+ adventure fantasy. Looks cool. The next one here is All My Relations, which explores the struggle against colonization. The bitchin' kitsch. Its goal is to provide an outlet for creators who are generally overlooked and who are excluded by traditional publications. If you want to submit your work for Volume 3, this is an art and literature online and print magazine exploring the theme of belonging, and this one will be open to BIPOC, LGBTQA2+, and disabled creatives only. They are looking for honest pieces reflecting on your feelings of belonging, commemorating memories of being in community with your relatives, etc. So it is about belonging. The editors are Chris Talbot-Heindel and Dana Talbot-Heindel. Can we look at them? Okay, yes we can. This is volume 13, issue 1. I really like the typography. Terraforming by Catherine Blair. The Future by Venus Cohen. Transitory Static by Rex Ibanez. My Next Love Shops at Walgreens. This is Sync Magazine, the independent leftist magazine giving voice to writers and artists from the north of England. Issue 3 is upcoming on Utopia. The submission guidelines is that they are currently closed, but they will reopen soon. Sync publishes writing, poetry and art, including photography, by creatives from the north of England. So if you have spent a significant amount of time in the north for living, studying, working, etc., you are eligible for this. The team is composed of northern young people. More about them here. There's Ria, Anisha, Antonia, Eva, Ellen. So they say that they are also an online magazine, but I cannot find where to browse previous issues. They have sold out, but I'm not sure why we can't view them online. Let me know if I'm missing something. Callonopia Collective is a literary platform by visually impaired writers and others who support them. The site is still being developed to increase accessibility, but you can see already that there is larger print and maybe other features that I'm not aware of. Callon means beauty that is more than skin deep, and opia, the ambiguous intensity of looking someone in the eye, which can feel simultaneously invasive and vulnerable. This collective seeks to examine the human experience through visual perspectives, and it encourages visually impaired writers of all ages to submit poetry, fiction, non-fiction, plays, and more, but they welcome all writers to submit work as long as it relates to the visual experience, visual impairment, or blindness. If you click on Read, you can see some of the pieces here. There seems to be essays as well. Let's see if this is a poem. In the Sense of Remaining Grounded by Carol Dorff. This is one example of a poem published here. If you want to submit, they are open to previously published work, as well as multiple and simultaneous submissions, which is not often the case. Here are the general guidelines. This includes poetry, audio recordings, prose, plays, and more. Paradolia Literary a literary journal for pattern finders. Okay, that sounds slightly mysterious. Read our code and ethics. We believe that writing is for everyone, and what we see on writing platforms should reflect that. We want to create an approachable space for first-time authors and artists, those underrepresented in literature and the arts, BIPOC, BAME, and LGBTQIA+ creators, and people with disabilities. Are you with us? Fantastic. Then submit. How to submit? Submissions will reopen during the summer, and they accept poetry, short fiction, non-fiction, memoir or essay, criticism or review, visual arts, audio and visual media. So a wide variety of options here. Let's check their issues. Volume 2, Wunderkammer, Summerlude 2021, Cosmos, Volume 1, Still Life. Okay, there are 3. Let's read Volume 2. Okay, that's really beautiful. Just a few pieces. Oh no, these are different sections. I see. Visual art, a girl's closet. There we go. A collage. Is there more? Okay, then you can go from this to the next piece and browse the magazine in that way. I like this idea of having different sections. Zine Daily, literature happens every day. Let's see what this is. There's a word from the editor. Zine Daily strives for truthfulness, authenticity and understanding, as well as it encourages and emphasizes the role that literature and other arts have in society. The magazine turns the page and presents a new visual identity, columns, editorial, and a Twitter account. So you can see new poetry here, for example, Christopher Barnes in Ashy Sky. It's presented like this. If you want to submit, let's see. Submission guidelines are here. They accept submissions year-round and ask for first publications rights. You can use their email address to submit 1 story, essay, article, review or excerpt, up to 5 poems, and also GIF poems and up to 5 images, alongside a cover letter and a short bio, as well as a poetic statement about the work you are sending and your photo. So you can do this at any time. Analogies and Allegories literary magazine accepts feature, poetry and art. I love old typewriters. I am easy to please with these pictures here. Founded in spring of 2020 by Molly Williamson, Analogies and Allegories literary magazine hopes to bring forth the magic of writing and art. They publish 4 issues each year, and they want your metaphors, your musings, your layered thoughts. Here are the editors: Molly Williamson, Megan Bonilla for poetry, Path Shirk for art and photography. There are 8 issues. Okay, I want to see the issue on magic. Here we go. Are these the contributors? Yes, contributors are here. So you can see the page with all the contributors, and then when you click on the picture, you have access to the work in PDF format. This is a story. This is a poem. Let's check submissions. It was open from the 1st to 31st March 2022, so you'll have to wait a little bit for the next issue to start asking for work. For poetry, you can submit up to 3 poems in one document, and they use a submission form. Journal of Erato is a journal showcasing art and writing about art with a little helping of love. You can read their publication here. No, you can't. Okay, let's click on issues. The graphic design is really great. Okay, so here's issue 2. Let's see issue 2 on Hometown. A coming of age issue. Here it is. You can look at it like this. Yeah, very colorful, very bold. I like it. It looks great. Now for submission. This is a magazine for art of all kind, as well as articles, interviews, and reviews relating to art. Well, what about poetry? Yeah, they do accept a lot of different things. Visual art, photography, film, writing, anything mixed media, music, fashion, fiber arts, pottery, cooking, baking, tattooing, anything else. So this is very eclectic. If you have pieces that may not quite fit in other places, you might consider Journal of Erato. Who is Erato? The muse of love poetry in Greek mythology. Marcus Kerr and Shiva Shah. The Naziona, Humanize the Other. It's a magazine, podcast, books, interviews, music, spoken words, personal stories, events, workshop, mentors. So here's the podcast. How does this work? Okay, issue 25, summer 21. So they seem to gather different types of texts into an issue. So what we view here is the issue with separate articles to click on. Now, is there poetry here? Yes, for example, here is some poetry presented like that. Who we are. It's a whole team submissions. They are currently open for submissions through April 30th, 2022 for the following series. They pay $15 for each piece selected for publication, so that's a rare thing to actually get paid for anything you submit to a journal like that. But it looks like you'll have to wait a little longer for the next issue to be put together. Finally, Shabbed, which I have no idea if I pronounce it correctly, is a multilingual space for poetry, fiction, philosophy, culture, dialogue, creative journalism, art, mental health, and money. Shabbed is a garden where humans like saplings bloom through stories. Okay. Featured issue 12 poems. How does this work? Read more. And it stopped working. So Shabbed is in India, as you can see here. There are some photos. There is a picture here, but unfortunately the website stopped working right now. It might come back, I hope, soon. In case I ever tire of doing these videos where I go through lists of online magazines that you can choose from, be aware that there's an amazing resource called Chill Subs. Find the right home for your writing without wasting too much energy. And basically, Chill Subs is a website. They also have a Twitter account, and they help you identify magazines that can publish your work and help you with all the windows, the open windows, closed windows, etc. You can browse magazines searching by magazine name, vibe, submission method, and you can click here, for example, open for submissions, to only have magazines that you can submit to straight away. They have a very long list of reviews, magazines, journals that can accept your work. So they have a really extensive database. So basically, this cuts through the need to go through endless lists of online magazines, which can be overwhelming, and helps you get straight to the point. Let's be honest, it's probably going to take me 20 years to go through all of these magazines separately. So this, I think, is your best resource when you have a piece that you actually want to have published. And they have both paper and online magazines, which is amazing. Yes, available in print, for example, will limit how many magazines you can submit to if you want to be printed on paper. Have a look at Chill Subs. I will link it down below. It's your best resource for all of this, and donate to them if you can. I hope you enjoyed this discussion of online poetry journals and that you know where to send your next piece. I will be taking a few weeks off after this video, but I am planning good things for this channel and I hope to see you again very soon. Bye!